Adventurers and artists, welcome back. This is me, well, an 11-year-old version of me, competing in an international kung fu competition in Shanghai. The best lesson I ever learned about music and the arts, I learned on this epic trip, and I wanted to share it with you today. So where does the story begin? It begins when a very tiny boy, some 8 years of age, waltzed into the tennis court at his local school, and there was a girl there named Olivia, and this boy had a crush on Olivia. And Olivia said to the boy that she's going to a kung fu class that evening in the school hall. Well, of course, the boy said that he too is going to the kung fu class, when in fact, any news of the said kung fu class flew right by him, and it must have ended up scrunched in the bottom of his bag with the mashed banana. So the boy went along, as did Olivia, and the story goes that Olivia never went back, but the boy stayed, and some 3 years later was flying to China on his first epic adventure to compete in the 100th Wushu competition in Shanghai. Well, that boy is me now, and guess what? I still wear the same shoes. Our journey started in Tianjin. On a crisp, blue sky morning, we were escorted to an elite kung fu training school and temple. This is where the best kung fu students in China trained every single day. These guys lived and breathed kung fu. The Tianjin team gave a demonstration that morning. They were formidable, fearsome warriors with super strength, lightning speed, and a finesse in the martial arts that I'd never seen before. Needless to say, I was frightened, but I didn't let fear move my heart. Our mentor Suyat took me and the others to the park across the road from our hotel to train our forms back to back every single morning. He really pushed us, and he ensured that we were going to go out there to the floor and give the best kung fu performance of our lives. The night before the competition, our coach gathered us in the hallway of the hotel, and my heart was like just beating, just really beating so hardcore. And he was looking at me with fear, or no, not fear, worry in his eye. And this is an emotion I'd never seen in the eye of Coach Guo. And he pulls me aside, and when he hesitated to speak, I knew something was wrong. And he looks at me and tells me the news. I was the first to compete. In the 100th anniversary of Chenwu, an international kung fu competition, I was the first to compete. A little 11-year-old boy from New Zealand. I was terrified. That night, I was literally terrified, man. Wow. But when the moment arrived, I couldn't let fear move my heart. The form was called Gong Li, and I went out there the first to compete, and I gave my damn best kung fu performance I've ever given. It was an absolutely thrilling experience. The judges deemed my performance of Gong Li worthy of third place. So, in that competition, in my league, which was, like the young boys, I got third place. I won the bronze medal, even though I wasn't the best. Of course, I wasn't the best. I didn't get first place or second place, but I still stood on that podium. Here's the bronze medal that I won. It looks like silver, but it's bronze. I'm not going to claim that it's silver because I didn't come second. I came third. But hey, this medal is from Shanghai. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with music? Well, it was the same year that I competed in my first ever piano competition as well. And it was a very, very similar situation in that I was competing against kids who were very technically proficient on the piano. But I still won. For the piano competition, I actually won. I came first place. Even though I wasn't the best pianist in the room and I wasn't the most technically proficient, the judges deemed my performance, it was the Up theme tune, by the way. The judges deemed my performance of the Up theme tune worthy of first place. As I look back on these two competitions, I draw parallels between them, and I wonder how it was that in that piano competition, I came first, and in the Kung Fu competition in Shanghai, I came third and still stood on that podium, even though some of the other competitors were much better than me. I wonder, how was that the case? It's because I performed with passion. I performed with my heart. And that's what I learned from this Kung Fu competition in China. This is the most important lesson I have learned about music and the arts. It's all about playing with heart, playing with passion, doing everything in the arts with all of your heart and all of yourself. You know, I always let this lesson guide me in my musical journey and just remind me that even though I might not be the best pianist or musician and my technique isn't masterful, I can still move people with my music, with just how much I love to play it. More so than the skill in music. I feel like if you're putting all of yourself into your music and your craft and your art, then that's what people really resonate with. In music, that's where the soulfulness of music comes from. When you're really playing with passion, you're playing with your heart, you're playing your music with all of yourself. And so, this is what I always try to do. Sometimes it's very easy to see some really skilled players and think that, oh man, they're so good and I'm not as good as them. No, but you can still have the same impact as them. You know, you can still play music and produce music, compose music, or whatever your craft is, whatever your art is. You can still do that with your heart and with passion. And that's what people will connect with. You know, it's not always about the notes that we play. What's a lot more important is what we put into those notes. Anyway, that's what I learned from the Kung Fu competition in Shanghai, and I wanted to share it with you to hopefully inspire you to play music or, you know, create art with all of your heart and all of yourself. You know, do it with passion, because this is really the most important thing, and that is what connects with people. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. It's been nice. This is the first one I'm doing out in nature. This is where I started on my channel, doing the piano videos out with scenic locations. I mean, this one isn't super scenic, but hey, I gotta start somewhere, right? This is like 2 minutes down the road from where I live. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. The journey has only just begun, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.